Palestine, 1936. The Holy Land for Jews, Christians and Muslims. Palestine had been placed under British control after the First World War by a League of Nations mandate. In 1917, Foreign Minister Arthur Balfour had declared British sympathy with the idea of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Over the next 20 years, Jewish settlers pour into the country to escape discrimination elsewhere. David Ben-Gurion, a Jewish leader.
The Jewish problem was never as acute as in these days. The world is barred against us, and outside of Palestine, there is no hope to look forward to.
But Palestine has been an Arab land for centuries.
At present, there is the difficult question of the Arab tenant farmers and Bedouin. But by agreement with the Syrian government, it would be possible to transfer large numbers to northern Syria. The land there is cheap and plentiful.
The tide of refugees overwhelms the Palestinian Arabs as tens of thousands of Jews seek sanctuary in Palestine to escape persecution in Hitler's Germany. In April 1936, the Arabs rise in revolt against the growing number of Jewish immigrants. An open letter to British forces in Palestine from the leaders of the Arab revolt.
The cruelty is to try and deprive us of our homes and our honor, to give our lands to the Jews, who are expelled by all the civilized nations. We are your friends if you behave faithfully. We are men of dignity and valor. We will never betray you, but you are our enemy when you try to do us harm.
After attacks by the Arabs, the Jews armed themselves and fortified their settlements. The British send in extra troops. Major David Kennard, Coldstream Guards.
18th of October 1936. After Lydda, the line twisted up the sides of the ravines. The scenery was fascinating, but no vegetation of any kind, just loose stones. One of the men was heard to remark, "God blimey, I thought that this was a land flowing with milk and honey. Well, as far as I can see, it's 15 men to a tin of milk and no bloody bees."
As the revolt continues, the British Army rounds up hundreds of Arab suspects.
The whole battalion cordoned Silwan. We searched it, finding 70 wanted men. One Arab woman was in a frenzy, tearing her hair and her garments. I stayed behind to help our informer. We had great difficulty getting away, as the women had rushed the prisoners and tried to lynch our informer.
Arab suspects are interned in detention camps. A young Arab leader.
In the old days, the Arabs never objected to the Jews. Nobody begrudged them the Wailing Wall and what it meant to them. But when the Jews became Zionists, it was a different matter. Now they are arrogant and aggressive. Our relationship with them is impossible.
The British High Commissioner in Palestine, Sir Harold McMichael, September 1938.
The position is deteriorating rapidly. This Arab revolt is an attempt to achieve the complete reversal of government policy regarding Jewish immigration.
With war looming against Germany, the British government does reverse its position. Britain will need its Arab allies and their oil. British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain, April 1939.
We are now compelled to consider the Palestine problem from the point of view of its effect on the international situation. If we must defend one side, let us offend the Jews rather than the Arabs.
The British decide to limit Jewish immigration so that a future Palestinian state will be controlled by an Arab majority. The Jewish settlers are left barricaded in their camps. Colonel Richard Meinertzhagen, a British officer who served in Palestine during the First World War.
The action of His Majesty's government in Palestine is very near to that of Hitler in Germany. We have dishonored our promises to the Jews. After 20 years of incredible effort in Palestine, the Jews are asked to abandon their national home at the bidding of Arab violence.
But it will be the violence of the Second World War which will change forever the history of Palestine. 6 million Jews will die in the Holocaust. For the survivors of the Holocaust, Palestine is their salvation. The Diary of a Polish Jew, a survivor of the death camps, part of the exodus of Jewish refugees to Palestine at the end of the war.
I am Gershon Rabinowicz from Krakow in Poland. From where I stand, Palestine looks like paradise. It is the first clear light I have seen in all my 17 years. It is hard to say what we see as our ship touches the promised land, for our eyes are filled with tears. Do you know what it is to be welcomed after a lifetime of being hated and hunted from land to land?
But the British are still trying to impose their pre-war policy to limit Jewish immigration. Many ships carrying Jewish refugees are turned away or have their passengers detained. John Watson, a soldier from Hampshire, serving in Haifa.
I tried to put myself into the position of one of those poor people who have suffered years of concentration camps, hunger and misery. Thousands on a tiny ship, within sight of the land they've dreamed of. Then, the British destroyers forced them aground and towed them off to captivity and more concentration camps.